Well, hello there. This is Davina, founder of Reawaken Your Authentic Self Academy and Unblock and Monetize Your Creative Talents program. And today I have a little bit of a different topic. And it might raise your eyebrows a little bit because the title of this weekly inspirational video is Why My Program Unblock and Monetize Your Creative Talents is more pleasurable than sex. Yes, you heard that right. Why is my program more pleasurable than sex? What I want to say is that, first of all, we're a society and a world where sex is something that we enjoy, especially men. And it's such a big drive. Men pay for sex. Porn is the biggest, a huge industry. Sexual pleasure is something that is strived for. We go to great lengths to have it. And there's nothing wrong with sex. Sex is great. Pleasure is great. And as a beautiful woman, I remember I did the Conscious Life Expo last weekend. I had a man camp out at my booth looking at my face like this. And I first of all thought he was a client, that he was interested in my program. Unblock and Monetize my, okay, let's talk to him. But he wanted to touch me. It was all about being intimate and looking at my beautiful face like this. And then I realized, well, I'm here paying $6,000 for a booth to help artists unblock and monetize their life program. And here he is taking up space and looking at me, obviously, because I'm a beautiful woman and it's all about, getting pleasure. And it's obviously a sexual thing. And the next day he came over again. He was going to do the same thing, talk to me and be, in love with my beautiful face. And I had to, ask him to leave because I needed my boundaries respected. I'm here selling a program as a teacher, right? I'm not selling sex, all right? So, and I got incredibly hit on left and right. I was selling this teaching thing. People came to my program because I was beautiful and there's obviously a lot of interest in my program, but there's also a big sexual interest. I even was giving my pamphlets out. Would you like to try my free offer? And there was one guy said, I look more interesting than the offer. He said, I look a lot more interesting and pleasurable, obviously, than my offer. And that's a big thing, that this society is willing to pay for sex and beauty. And that's fine. I'm not judging it at all. Then something that is supposed to make you find your authentic self, which is the name of my program, Reawaken Your Authentic Self. And so I took it, what is it that I'm not really telling people? Because there is a little click in the society. And that is that there's more, that things that are worth paying for, which is spiritual practices, what I teach, spiritual practicing, to find God, to be reconnected back to your soul. These are the spiritual practices in my 4 bodies, right? I'm all about practicing the spiritual bodies, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual, right? I'm all about the spiritual practice to find the higher alignment with God, right? Why is it that people don't want to pay to find themselves more than paying for sex or drugs or junk food or being lazy and not doing the things that need to be done to find themselves. Why is that? And I'm going to answer that question. And that is because this society believes that it is not good to pay for things that are spiritual practices of God. And I'm not saying that it can't be done. There's beautiful people like Tony Robbins, who's a multimillionaire. It can be done. But there is an underlying kind of energy that says that it's not okay to pay for things that are godly. Of Course in Miracles. Most amazing book that's worth millions of dollars, in my opinion. Wrote by Jesus. Absolutely free. Now, if you go to Marianne Williamson's program, you go to Hay House, you can buy her program, A Course in Miracles. Yeah, she's charging, right? She's charging. But in general, there's like a subconscious, and Neil Donald Walsh, the author of Conversation with God, talks about this, and he had this video. Why is it that we pay porn stars, right, so much money? I got money thrown at me. I got people asking me left and right, can I pay you for sex because I'm a beautiful woman? This is thrown at me. I'm not even advertising, I'm walking around. People ask me this. Yet if I have a booth, right? I'm selling unblock and monetize your creative talents. A lot of interest. I got a lot of interest. But it's a lot harder to sell your product as a teacher than it is sex. And that's unfortunate. Because guess what? My program, I guarantee you, my program is more pleasurable than sex. My program, mine, is more pleasurable than sex. And in general, finding God the right way is more pleasurable than sex. I'm not saying get rid of sex. I love sex. I love masturbation. I love masturbating myself. I love it. I love pleasure as a woman. I love the senses. I love touch. Enjoy sex. But why is it that the majority of people are not pursuing spiritual practices that connect you to the divine? And I maybe that's where I need to teach. And that's why I'm doing this video. People don't realize that spiritual practices that connect you to God is absolute, magnificent pleasure. And when you practice spiritual practices that connect you to the soul and the divine, it is an absolute ecstatic pleasure. You have no idea. All of the spiritual practices, the ascension activation meditations, the energy healing meditations, the mindset spiritual practices that I do, the light body that I do, the butterfly diet that I downloaded from the soul, all these spiritual practices that have been gifted to me and channeled through my soul and through other people's soul and guided to me, such as the ascension activation meditations or light body that I teach in my program, including the butterfly diet. All of these spiritual practices has been what has made me feel absolutely fucking alive. When I was 18, I was dying in my body, desperate and hungry because I was so disconnected from who I really was. Disconnected from who I really was. Starving for something because I felt empty. These spiritual practices have been an absolute savior of finding new levels of joy, fulfillment, satisfaction, and absolute pleasure. It has made my sexual life and my sensual life a lot more pleasurable. Now, if you feel like you're going for pleasure on a very kind of shallow level, that is, okay, I'm gonna go pay for sex, or I'm gonna go do drugs, I'm gonna go do booze, I'm gonna be lazy and do nothing. That's great. Go do it. Go do what you think that is gonna give you pleasure. But what I want to say here, as a teacher, my job is to teach you what real, authentic pleasure is. Most people are interested in short-term pleasure. I'm going to go have sex. I'm going to go stick it in and we're going to have an orgasm and that's it. I'm going to go shoot myself heroin or cocaine. I'm going to eat bad food, popcorn, whatever, junk food, fried foods. I'm going to feel like shit in the morning and less connected to myself. My program is a 12-month program. And I know that a lot of people are looking for instant gratification. But here's the good news. Real pleasure comes from foreplay. My program is all about foreplay. It is about savoring every single moment. It is not a marathon. It is not instant gratification, but is the fastest path, in my opinion, the fastest path to yourself. It is the fastest path to yourself because we're taking time and it builds momentum. When you build momentum and you gradually do things, it builds up. That's what happened to me. I was incredibly backed up when I started. And it took me, I would say, when I really started to practice everything, it took me about 8 years to really unblock myself. When I unblocked myself and did all of these spiritual practices that I teach, that's when the electric current came in and my higher self, my butterfly self, from what I described from my butterfly diet, came in. And she started talking through me and said, "Oh my God, I'm in my body. I'm in my body," and I couldn't believe it. There's a new me in my skin. And what I realized is like, wow. Yeah, this is better than hell yes, it's better than sex. Because me came in my body. You don't feel it because it's so gradual. Most of us don't feel this because it's so gradual. And that's a little sneaky secret about the divine. It's not boom like sex, right? It's gradual. I remember this one time I was shown, when I was incredibly unblocked, I was shown, it was during a shamanic ceremony, ayahuasca shamanic ceremony. I was shown what it is to be in the divine. The music, I could hear the music better. The music was playing, but I wasn't deaf anymore. I wasn't in my ego. I wasn't in the darkness. I could hear the music like it was just simple music playing, and I could hear it. I could feel 10 times more than I could ever feel in my body. I could taste better. I could think better. The feeling was amplified. And then I went back to where I was. It lessened. And that was a flash of what it feels like to be incredibly connected to who you really are. Does it take time to get there? Hell yes. Is it worth it? Hell yes. So this is an invitation to you, not only to join my program, this is an invitation for you to stop looking for just instant gratification that does not take you anywhere. And to start looking for the real prize. You know what the real prize is? You know what is worth every single moment of your life? Practicing these spiritual practices of God. The reward is you. And it's a lifelong practice. I just started. I'm 37 right now, actually. I'm 37 and I started when I was 18. At 27, 28, 29, 30, Saturn returned, that's when I became a butterfly. And at 30, 31, that's when I was told, you need to teach. You've been a student too long, you need to teach. And this is my teaching aspect to you. My teaching aspect to you in this moment is stop looking at my pretty face and jerking off to it. That's great. If you want to jerk off on your own and jerk off to my face, that's fine. You want to say I'm beautiful? That's fine. I love that. Sex is great. But what I'm saying to you is that you're missing the fucking point. If that's all you're looking for is instant gratification. Do you understand the fucking pleasure that it is to devote your entire life to finding who you are, because that's why you're here on the planet? Paying for drugs, paying for sex is not really going to take you there. Porn is not really going to take you there. Great. You're jerking off, you're putting shit on your face. Great. I'm not judging it as much as it seems like I am. But it's time at some point in your life where you need to be more mature and an adult, because we're not going to be children anymore. And that, as much as I love my own inner child, I graduated as a butterfly and I teach my butterfly medicine. I'm not a caterpillar anymore. I'm a butterfly. I have transformed into a butterfly through the butterfly diet and everything that I explain. And if you read a little bit of my book or look at my webinar, you can understand what the butterfly is. But basically, I've graduated. I was told, and this is just an example of food, right? We all indulge all the time of food. We don't have a schedule, right? We eat pizza, we junk food, and sometimes we eat our salad. But I was told that, it's time to graduate. You need discipline. You need discipline. You need to eat your green smoothies, right? Because this is the ultimate alignment. It's not instant gratification of eating my popcorn and feeling like shit the next day. This is what was told to me. You need to graduate. You need to be a butterfly. You want to understand who you are in the physical level, you need to graduate and drink your smoothies, right? And do your vegetables. Avoid cooked foods. Avoid your sugars. If you really want to know who you are, you need to graduate to the butterfly diet, and that's what I've been doing. I was told all I need to eat was 3 meals a week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I was given the formula. Was it hard as hell to give up all that? Hell yes, it was. I'm not going to lie. It was hard. But then I asked myself, what is pleasurable about this? And it was incredibly pleasurable. I've been doing it for 7 years now, and it's an incredible journey of pleasure. I feel more alive than I've never felt. And all this flash of my higher self coming down to my body and speaking through me, and the miracle of thousands of clothing designs coming through me in my third eye, and knowing where to go in my marketing, and having the incredible pleasure of feeling alive, that was worth giving up the instant gratification of shoving popcorn down my mouth that is going to destroy my body, shoving down cooked food or fried foods that's going to disconnect me from my body, age my body, and make me feel less alive. That was worth giving up. And I can tell you now, every single morsel, every single bite, now that I've been used to it, is an absolute ecstasy. I was like, what was I thinking? And am I saying that you're going to suffer? No. No, this is not a spiritual practice about suffering. This is about tuning in to real pleasure. Because your ego is going to tell you, your ego doesn't want this. It does not want this for you. Your ego doesn't want you to join my program and have it die, because this is the death of your ego. This is the death of your ego. You're practicing spiritual practice that your ego does not want to let go of. Your ego wants you to indulge in things that don't connect you to the divine. Your ego wants to judge and attack me because it's throwing in the face the truth of who you really are. Your ego wants to doubt yourself, not feel confident enough, not worthy enough, saying, oh, I'm not good enough, I can't do this. That's what your ego wants. Your ego wants to indulge in instant gratification in things that don't matter. That's what your ego wants. And that's the whole test, right? That's the whole test. God is kind of asking you, are you going to indulge? Are you going to indulge? Or are you going to give up the things and really trust that these spiritual practices that God has given, not only in my program, but in every program, A Course in Miracles, for example, yoga. Remember when I started hot yoga, it was hard as hell. Now I went, I think it was a couple of days ago, and absolute pleasure. Even the discomfort was pleasurable. It opened me to a new level of peace, even in the discomfort. That's powerful. This is about opening up the senses and pleasure. And I'm inviting you to let me be your guide to open up pleasure and show you the pleasure of spiritual practice. It baffles me that some people don't want to even invest in that. But they're fine with just investing in something that doesn't matter. This is a very, very important topic. And I hope that this video inspires you to make the decision to invest in your real pleasure. The real pleasure is you. The discovery, the adventure of finding who you really are. Reawakening your authentic self. This is what it's all about. You know what life is about? This is what Esther Hicks says. Life is about having fun and joy. My program is about having fun, reawakening your authentic self. And if you don't have fun with it, by God, please ask me. How can I have fun with it? Because I will sure as hell tell you. I will sure as hell tell you where your thoughts are that are blocking you from enjoying this, because this is absolute pleasure. These ascension activation meditations that I do 3 times a week, absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. You're connecting with the damn divine. And this man, Dr. Joshua David Stone, let me look at his book here. Let me bring it up. This man, absolute pleasure. Ascension activations by this man. I have a cover in here. This man right here. Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. So humble. So humble. I remember I didn't even have the money to pay for his seminars, but I did translate this book in Spanish. Absolute pleasure. His ascension activation meditations, absolute pleasure. And nobody, why is this not famous? Why is this not famous? That's why I'm here. I want to share my enthusiasm of what it is to do these meditations. I want to share my enthusiasm, what it is, the adventure and the pleasure of the butterfly diet, something that I channel from my soul, so that you can know who you really are. Because life is about having fun. The adventure of discovery of you. Absolute pleasure. That's what the butterfly diet is. It looks to your ego, it looks like pain. Like, I don't know if I can really live on smoothies. You don't even have to live on smoothies. You just have to add smoothies to your diet, the way the butterfly diet is being taught, and it will just naturally happen. The spiritual practices of engaging your emotional body through the meditations that I teach, absolute pleasure. The successful mindset thoughts, the law of attraction tools that I've learned, absolute pleasure. My intention for you in this program is to not only feel safe, because I believe in non-judgment, which is unconditional love, but it's for you to feel absolute pleasure. And when you're in joy and pleasure, you're in a state of allowing deeper and deeper levels of you to happen. I hope that this has really hit a chord, because enough is enough. I've had enough of people coming up to me. My face is beautiful and this is what they're focusing on. And I'm trying to teach you about something so much more enjoyable and pleasurable than my beautiful face and you jerking off to my face or wanting to pay me for sex. This is what matters. This is what matters. Stop saying to yourself, oh, I can't afford going to this. Yeah, no, yes, you can. This is about you. This is about you. And your pleasure. I remember reading The Power of Now, how Eckhart Tolle, the moment he removed his ego, he looked around and he was doing nothing, and he was in absolute pleasure. He looked at a bottle here and there. His incessant mind of, oh my gosh, I'm doing this wrong, or whatever the ego says. And then he woke up in the morning when his ego was removed. He saw nothing but ecstasy. And that's what I want for you. That's why I'm here today. That's what I was told to be a teacher. I'm a teacher and a healer. That's what I want for you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a beautiful day, and may you decide something different for yourself. May you look for authentic pleasure. Thank you.